Hello and welcome back to the fourth part of What If Deku had a time release Genkai named Rewind. And you know what that means? Erie's coming into the picture, but I will probably be ending the series after the next part because I don't want to go into the war arc again because I don't know how I'm gonna do that really well. So I'm not doing it this time. I'll probably do it the next time because the next what if is gonna be even more awesome, bro. It's gonna be so good. Like, oh my god. Actually, I'm gonna show y'all a thumbnail later when I actually, I'm certain that I've, gotten into it fully. But Deku is gonna be so OP. It's gonna be amazing. So watch out for that. And I'm gonna post the next part of What If Luffy at Yuno's powers very soon. Still trying to, get back into it. But then I realized it's One Piece. As boring as some parts get, because it's really long, it's still a good series. So my spiritual lifted up again. So that's good. Y'all be getting that real soon. Also, just watched Binks Brew. I cried so much, bro. Oh my god. Anyway, let's get into it. And I'm going to start with the recap first. Alright. The last part began with Deku and Jiraiya going to Hosu, and there they step into chaos, and Jiraiya would show his real skills. Deku would then be told by him to go help others, but while he's soon joined by some heroes. He recognizes one of them, and this leads him to picking up on something. He goes and finds Ida, who has been saved by Jiraiya, and Jiraiya beats up the hero killer, so this was spread. And the next day, Deku apologizes to Ida for not noticing a strife and not being a good friend. He managed to change his mind somewhat on the part of holding a grudge, but it's still like going on. Ida's still dealing with stuff. And then when he goes back home with Jiraiya, he asks if he's selfish, and this leads to Jiraiya giving him the most powerful words that he would carry with him for a long time. And he would then leave soon as he returns back, and he shows his new control over chakra, and Ida would tell his class about his brother, and they confront him and all that. The subject of the Force Lodge then comes up, and after weeks of studying, they come in for an exam, and when they come for an exam, and after the written one, they have to fight their teachers. Bakugo is shown Deku's new move as he's literally sped up, and he was able to match All Might in movement, but Deku will be able to move and mind lock him when he tries to get away from him after they try and fight him. They win, and Deku and Bakugo get a little closer, and they go to the Force Lodge soon. Deku shares his new power with everyone, and they end up beating all the monsters at the camp. The teachers are left flabbergasted, but had to deal with it. And night fell, they ate. The next day they trained. And as night fell again, Deku tried to talk to Koda, but when he brought him some food, it didn't exactly work. He would go back and ask Todoroki if he was, well, a good friend, because Koda pointed out how selfish he was. And Todoroki would say that he is, but he cares he cares a lot, but he has to show it in a different way, I guess. Yeah, basic stuff. But for Deku, that's a pretty big deal. So he does not talk to Koda again because he knows he's gonna make it worse. However, on the fourth day, the villains attack, and two times Deku was targeted by Kurogiri's portal, but through it all, he saves Koda, he saves Bakugo and Todoroki, he even saves Ragdoll from being kidnapped. He would also heal Pixie Bao, showing a new ability, and after the incident, no one is taken, but the villains were after Deku. So, yeah. The heroes that attacked Kamino a few days later, and luckily, not only did All Might get healed by Deku, who gave him a band-aid, but All Might would just go back to his prime because his time was also reversed. He and the heroes destroy All for One, and soon the dorm system is put into place, and we ended off on Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki going to train, while everyone had fun checking out their rooms. So, we're going to begin this with a 2-day time skip ahead, as 1A sits in class, and Aizawa says, like I mentioned last class, from now on our main objective will be the provisional licenses. I heard the tests are really hard, Samineta, and since when has anything at UA been easy, said Deku. Aizawa says that they are hard, but that's why the other teachers are helping them. He then calls in Midnight, Cementos, and Ectoplasm, and Ectoplasm will say today we focus on ultimate moves. Oh hell yeah, I got a bunch of ideas, said Deku, and everyone shares his excitement as they're told to go change, and after they are led to the TDL, where the teachers will be getting to work, and Ectoplasm uses his clones to watch over them. Cementos made their targets, he made pillars, he rose up the terrain, and he made targets for them, places to train. Midnight gave them inspiration, and Aizawa was just the supervisor of sorts, my bad. We find Deku atop one of these many mountainous platforms when he and Ectoplasm will be encircling each other. So, what have you thought of Midoriya as the hero? Bringing out 4 beasts from his powers, Deku would then imbue them with time as well as chakra before he threw them, and they come to surround the hero before then piercing him with beams from all sides, and the clone would then poof to nothing, as the beasts would then pull back to Deku, who also added a rewind onto them, and he then yells, "Send 10 more this time, it's too lax, Ecto." As the real Ectoplasm watched from below, he was surprised, to say the least. That kind of super move is almost undodgeable. He then created more clones and they ran over, and the voice of All Might would then be heard by Aizawa, who turns to see him. "Looks like you took time of your busy schedule," he said. All Might would then apologize for being late. So, everyone is doing their best. But, That's new. He points forward to see Deku sticking onto the wall parallel like to the platforms, and those who saw this would be frozen as well because, well, he was literally running up like the pillars. And from atop, Ectoplasm would ask, were you planning this? Hell no. This is awesome, said Deku, as he would just go with the flow and begin to run around the pillar as if it was nothing, leaving everyone baffled. How do you even do that? Asked Kaminari. How should I know, said Deku, as he proceeded to run back and forth and just like all around, and he would then actually leap off into the air, and as he was midair, he would then release a whip of chakra that extends and rips through the clones, while his malicious grin would return. Yeah, he's having way too much fun to care, said Hakure. Angered, Bakugo then asked for more ectoplasm clones because what he just saw is insane, and now he had to up his game again. And All Might then asks what it is that Deku actually controls, like that energy. And Aizawa says he has it named as chakra, life energy, courtesy of Sage Jiraiya. From the looks of it, it also has an adhesive property, said All Might. And who cares? I've seen far too much from that child to be surprised now. After getting used to what he just saw, All Might would give some advice to the kids, and with 4 days left, everyone would refine their moves and do everything they could think of with their powers. And Deku did go see Mei to get some things worked up, but he only had his beats changed. He turned them to actual projectiles, taking inspiration from his own shtick of the whole ninja thing, and the fact that he does hands-on, chakra, all of that. He got kunais made for himself, and they're still the same like heavy weight, and they're all proportioned only to him. And he works on the fact that he could now work on parallel, and like he could run and walk on different surfaces and stuff. So he literally found out he could even walk on water, which was crazy, but he worked on it and kind of made it very awesome. This increased his control over chakra even more until the day that the exams actually arrived, and the 1A class walked off their bus to face the Koba arena. I'm getting nervous now, said Jiro. You should be. Everyone's coming after us, said Deku. Uraka then points out that he doesn't exactly look worried, as in fact he's freaking laughing and smiling, to which Deku says, yeah, I feel bad for them. I'm gonna grind them to pieces. Aizawa then says they cannot wuss out now because they must stay steadfast, and they've shown very, very good promise, so they can't just, stop now. And they promise to, do so, and they hype themselves up, and they're gonna do their classic chant of plus ultra when Inasa then joins in, weirding them out. Who the hell are you? Asked Deku. I apologize, said Inasa, as he bows and hits his head to the floor, and Deku would say he didn't want an apology, he just wanted to know who he was. Standing straight, Inasa would then start to bleed from his head, saying he was from Shiketsu, and his name was Inasa. And this is when his classmates walked up apologizing for his behavior. I hope you have a good match, said the furry Nagasama. However, he would then slightly avoid Deku's gaze, making him smile. Don't worry, I won't freeze you. I'm well aware you won't do it now, but I'm just trying to teach myself to avoid your gaze. He slightly bows and tells everyone to follow, and as they leave, Todoroki would then say, so to win, we simply have to make Midoriya keep an eye on everyone. Hell no, I'm gonna fight on my own, said Deku. You're pretty rad in real life, huh? They all then turn to see Miss Joku who has said this, and her very presence makes Aizawa a bit uncomfortable, and of course she keeps asking about marriage and stuff like that, just making jokes, which fits her very well. And this would actually make Mina, of course, have thoughts of like, oh, they're getting together, Mina is that gossip type of girl. Anyway, Miss Joku would then call over her students, when Shindo would then walk up to shake Deku's hand, only to then be met by a stare, and he freezes in his tracks, and Deku would then smile. Yeah, you're not fooling me. These eyes are more than just for show. Don't let him touch you, said Deku, as he pulled back his hand and turns around, walking past them to the arena. With all this, one day start to look at him suspiciously, as Miss Joku would then come to Shindo and put her hand on Shindo's shoulder. At least you tried. As Shindo watched one day go off, he said, seriously, how do I fight someone I can't even look at? Soon all the students would then be put in their costumes and gather in a wide room and have things explained to them by an overseer and an overweight Mera from the Public Hero Safety Commission. He's tired as hell. When he's done, the building would then literally fall apart and the clock would start to count down as they revealed their battleground, and Deku would then leap out from the crowd as he would start running to the city area on his own, and he would then enter his cloaked state and increase his speed tenfold. He would then leap into the sky and start running up a tall building, and as other students ran into the city, they're surprised he can do such a thing. Well, Deku would then arrive at the top and he looks over the entire area until he cracks a smile, and he would leap to the right after he would try to go after his first targets. They're all gonna die, honestly. They have no chance. Meanwhile, Mera will be looking at the scorekeeper when he becomes wide-eyed as he screams into the speakers, Izuku Midoriya has just earned 300 points in just 5 minutes. Hearing this, all the kids become amazed. Meanwhile, the teachers watch Deku walk out with his hand on his head as he would walk past many laid-out students out cold before him and around him. That was actually boring. As he walks forward, he would then see some kids fighting, only for them to stop when he enters the area, and one student actually gets tagged because he was distracted, and this makes Deku laugh. Don't worry, didn't you hear? I'm out. Jeez. Speeding up his time, he then leaps into the air and jumps over all of them as they breathe a sigh of relief before then continuing their bouts. Deku meanwhile goes to the waiting room and takes a break, and Inase would then soon come in after ranking in 120 points, if I'm not wrong, and he would then say, "Zuko Midoriya, right?" "Yeah, what?" Inase marches over saying he was very impressed with the way he fought in the festival, and he would hold his hand out as Deku would take a moment before shaking it. "You're a pretty carefree guy, huh?" "I've been told I'm actually pretty tense," said Inase, and Deku laughed, saying that he agrees with that as well. The two would actually get along quite well, and soon the room would fill with many students after a bit of time passed, and this included all of 1A that managed to pass, and as the test comes to an end, with 100 people being in it, they watch as the area is basically bombed, and out then comes some actors acting as rescuees for them to, well, rescue, and they spread out, they spray fake blood all over themselves, they get ready. And as the walls fall over again, they fall apart. Momo instantly makes a kind of station to bring the injured over while everyone fans out, and many stay on the platform to just have a little station and have their friends or like classmates just run out. Deku and the others do their best rescuing people and end up with good points or negative ones based on how they treat them. And Bakugo actually saves people because he will not lose to Deku, who he saw bring back to satisfy people at some point. So he's not trying to lose. He doesn't care. Like, he just wants to win. But then a giant explosion would then be heard, and as they look off to their left from the platform, the rescuers and students see the Gang Orca and his men make an entrance as he was acting as the main villain. "Come on, bring it," he said, as he would then scream, sending out a sonic attack as he did not want to take any chances after spotting Deku. But running before everyone, Deku punches, releasing a wave of chakra that would hit and reverse the attack, leaving everyone amazed. Gang Orca didn't think that he could affect something that did not have a solid form, so he's a bit surprised. He improvised. This kid, thought Gang Orca. Quickly, he then sent out his henchmen, who begin to fire their cement guns, and this was basically something that sticks to you and holds you to the ground. And this is when Shindo runs past Deku as he would avoid one of these blasts, and with a touch of the ground, he began to make everything shake and crumble, making the henchmen trip and fall. Gang Orca would then attack him from a blind spot, however, as he releases a sonic attack and freezes the boy in place, just as he would have to jump back and avoid a wave of ice. Todoroki then fires another attack, but it is shattered by a sonic scream, just as a wave of wind would then push back the hero and his people, well, villain in this case. Todoroki looks up to see a flying Inasa, and the two would lock eyes, and instantly this is when chaos begins. As Deku keeps coming back and running with many people, his eyes soon see the two trying to keep each other out of their way, and essentially just fighting. Those idiots, he thought. He would soon drop the woman he had on his back and say, "Stay." He runs off and would chuck 4 kunai towards some of Gang Orca's men, as well as 2 towards Todoroki and Inasa. As they're hit, they become frozen in time and just freeze there, with Inasa just being stuck in midair, while Deku runs to the villains, and in a flash he then appears behind the group. A delayed impact would then blow all their clothes off, and this includes Gang Orca, as they would have a fist-like dent on all their chests. He hit them really hard, and like the teachers would be amazed, like, incredible, he diffused everything instantly, and he did. As he does this, Deku would then hold his hand out with his kunai all coming back to him, and as he catches them, he would unfreeze Inasa and Todoroki before then yelling, "What the hell do you think you are doing? What do you think you were doing, huh?" Feeling intense anger from Deku, they become tight-lipped, with Inasa then landing down, while Deku would then walk past him, asking, "How blind are you? Todoroki's nothing like his dad. Take another look." Hearing this come from even Deku leaves him surprised as he looks back to Todoroki, and his eyes no longer, in fact, look like his father. He didn't have any vengeance or like hate or anything, but he was just too blind to notice it because, well, he was a bit petty. "I'm such an idiot," Todoroki and Inasa thought. Soon the test would then come to an end, with everyone returning to their normal uniforms while they see if their names were put up on the boards. They see their scores, and many of them were on there. However, Todoroki and Inasa were not. "Ha! Suck it, Icy Hot! I passed," yells Bakugo. And as he looks to Todoroki, however, his feeling of victory would fade because Todoroki would just like be looking sad, but he congratulates him, and he just felt so pissed at himself. And while 1A felt bad for him, Inasa would then walk up at this point, and he bows, hitting his head to the ground. "I'm sorry, because of my pettiness, you were screwed over." Calming down, Todoroki says that he had a big part in making all of this happen as well, so it's also his fault. Luckily though, Mera says that everyone will have a chance to get their licenses if they fail this time, so this applies to everyone who failed, and Deku would then walk up to and slap Todoroki on the back, as Todoroki would then look back in pain, and Deku would say, "Sorry about that, but hurry up and join me, okay?" "I will be sure to." So what'd you get?" "100%, said Deku as he held up his test sheet to his face, and as Momo heard this, she would gasp, as Deku would then laugh into the air, saying she can suck it. "Midoriya!" yells Jiro. "Again, don't expect too much from me," said Deku as he continued to laugh, pissing off other school kids, but they couldn't even deny that he was amazing, and if anything, he was holding back because he didn't show that like kind of huge grin he always had when he was fighting. He showed it once or something, but he was never like super excited. He just took them all out easy. At the end of all of it, the ones who have passed get their licenses, their cars, and Deku sends a picture of the car to his mom before they all get back on the bus and go back home. And after this, Monet goes back to school, and they work for about a minimum of 4 days on normal stuff until one day the entire school is then called out for a speech. And when Monet returns after the speech, Siyu would then ask, what was the work studies about? That's what we're actually going to be focusing on today, said Aizawa. Come in. Everyone hears the door slide open as Mirio, Nejire, and Tamaki enter while being introduced as the big three of UA, and the class is a bit amazed because they heard about them. But Deku takes a closer look before them bursting into laughter. You're that guy whose clothes... I'm sorry. Your clothes came off during the obstacles in the last festival. He points to Mirio, and he just couldn't help but just laugh at him, with the young hero being embarrassed, with everyone just apologizing for him. But Deku says, that doesn't mean much, I just thought it was funny. Other than that, you're strong. Thanks. Same to you, said Mirio. After this, the three would all introduce themselves, even if they were a little weird about it, until Miro then suggests they fight so they can understand what he was talking about in terms of learning experience and stuff like that from their work studies. This is allowed by Aizawa, and they all go to the TDO in their gym uniforms, as Sir would then ask, are you sure about this? Miro would be stretching as he said that he would indeed fight them all, and Tamaki says that he shouldn't do this while he had his face planted onto a wall. Seriously, we don't want any broken things beyond fixing. Just go with the usual lesson. Nejire would then say, there was this kid who quit being a hero a long time ago after being discouraged. It caused a lot of trouble. Shut up. The voice of Deku would then echo as he turns to see the two. Say another word and I'll kick you into the dirt. Who the hell do you think you're talking to? They two become tight-lipped as Deku then starts walking to Mirio, as he would then say that he'd take a shot first. Like I said, you're strong. Right in front of Mirio, in the blink of an eye, he slams a punch into his stomach, which actually lands even though he was supposed to be in permeation, leaving Nejire and Tamaki shocked, but One was confused, and Deku continued. You're strong, but you are not beating me. What exactly is that guy's quirk anyway, asked Bakugo. As Mirio comes to land, he holds his stomach in absolute pain as Deku says, I always remember strong people. Okay, yeah, they underestimated you a bit, said Mirio. Deku says, of course they did. I fucking control time. To me, a quirk like yours is non-existent. When I punch you, every single time, your time will rewind, and I'll sock you. Again, what is this guy's quirk, asked Bakugo. I don't get why this is so amazing, Deku. It's called permeation, said Aizawa. Just as Mirio would then sink into the ground, and he would then come behind the entire class, and just as they turned, they would all be hit by a blow to the stomach. Even Bakugo, who would fall over, clenching his stomach in complete pain. Midoriya just made it look easy. This guy's strong, they all thought. While the rest of them attacked Mirio, Tamaki would then walk to Aizawa, asking if Deku said really the truth and if he wasn't joking around, and Aizawa would say, why would he lie? It was probably a bad idea to belittle Midoriya. He has a thing about it. He may hurt Mirio beyond repair. But that's super dangerous, said Nejire. He can heal people, he'll be fine, Aizawa said. Still, said Tamaki. Mirio would then finish off everyone and feel something as he would then duck and actually avoid a punch from Deku, who skids in front of him. You actually dodged. Nice. Alright, let's. I give up, said Mirio. Deku would then freeze before then grinding his teeth. Oh, come on. Sorry, I'd rather not. I've made my point and you've made yours. Though angered, Deku would then cross his arms saying, yeah, I guess you kinda did. I didn't get to, though. And did you really have to hurt us this bad to get it across, though, said Sero. Putting a thumbs up, Mirio would then say yes, with Bakugo then saying that he'd kill him, and, well, he's trying to hold back so much right now. So after putting on his clothes, Mirio would then gather everyone to talk about how his quirk really works, and the fact that he had to learn to adapt to law, and after his speech, they all give a clap, and Nejire and Tamaki then apologizing to them. We didn't mean to belittle you, but things happen, said Tamaki. Nah, it's fine, we got destroyed, said Kirishima. Well, Midoriya didn't, but he's weird. What do you mean weird, said Deku, as he grabs and puts Kirishima in the headlock, with Kirishima then saying he was just joking around, and it surprised Tamaki and Nejire, considering how he did a complete 180 out of nowhere. After this, the big three would leave, and there are no hard feelings, but returning back, everyone would talk about how hard they were going to work and who they were going to work with, if it was going to be the same people or what. And after school ends, as the sun starts to set, we find Deku running around UA grounds, just exercising, while on top of Jiraiya. Yeah, sure, kid, said the former hero. Awesome! Clean up your magazines, though, said Deku. However, the hero would then hang up, pissing off Deku, but with a smile, he would just feel happy about working with him again, because it's fun, and he would then increase speed and put his phone away. A day later, when the weekend came, Deku would then run through the common area with an apple, while Tokoyami, Mineta, Kirishima, and Kaminari were just laying around, and he runs past them, saying hi as they do the same. He then reaches the outdoors and runs past he then reaches the outdoors and runs past Todoroki, saying good luck, buddy, and he would then say thanks. Also, don't talk while you eat. And Deku would then leap into the air as he would enter his cloak form and just go. And Todoroki feels envious of the fact that he can just use his quirk now due to his license, but he resolves himself to catch up. Instead of taking the train, Deku would just run to Naruhata where his master lived and soon arrived at the hermit's house. And once he opens up the door, it goes to hit him, but with a tap, he will then spread his vector circuits and freeze it, and he then looks on the other side to see a smiling Jiraiya. Not bad. Did you really think I'd fall for the same thing? Asked Deku. As he walks in, and the door will then return to its normal flow in time, allowing Jiraiya to close it. So, how'd you get her so fast? Asked Jiraiya. I ran. So, what are we gonna do? Jiraiya will then stroke his chin as he said, screw it, we're hunting villains again. Deku would then get excited at the thought as he said that he had figured out even another ability of the Jogan. I can see through people. Covering his chest, Jiraiya would then call him a pervert as Deku yells, "You're the only pervert here. I never meant it like that." So what he said to say as he walks to the kitchen, and Deku then stood up and walked over, saying it's recent, but he can see things like muscles and veins, and he doesn't really need to predict time anymore because he can now see how someone's gonna attack when their muscles contract and all that stuff. And Jiraiya would then take out a pan to cook. Meanwhile, he says, "For now, let's eat. Can't hunt if we're not full." Are finally making some sense, said Deku. After the two eat, they would then go hunting for villains, and Deku's new ability proved to be very useful, allowing him to even see through walls when needed to detect people. After he finished work, Deku then ran all the way back to UA, which took him about 45 minutes, and a week passes, and this is when Nadai would actually call for Jiraiya to help with something. As Jiraiya received the call, he would be standing on the sidewalk as he would nod, saying, "So you're starting today?" Over the phone, Nadai would then say yes, and Jiraiya would then think about it before then saying, "Yeah, we're coming over." He would hang up and look to the citizens on his right, and they would be in awe to see Deku summon punch into a giant villain, and he would be slammed backward into the cement. And as the villain hits the ground, Deku would land on his forehead and look into his eyes as he becomes frozen. As he does this, Deku would then jump down and is met by the thanks of the police officers who proceed to capture the villain, who returns to normal size. And as he does, he's then taken, with Deku then touching the ground, and his circuits were spread, rewinding time and fixing the road. And this alone gets him even more love from the city, who still can't believe that he was just a student. Deku would then lead back to the people, and they would thank him, and he would wave to them, his fans, and he would then go back to Jiraiya saying, "What's up? Can you run us back to Mutsufatsu?" "Yeah, why?" Jiraiya then said they had a meeting to attend, and Deku said he would be fine with it, even though it sounds boring. So he would speed up Jiraiya to run along with him because he wasn't gonna carry him. He said, "You lazy, I am not gonna carry you." When they arrived at Night Eye's agency, Deku met Uraka, Tsuyu, Kirishima, as well as the big three who were present with many other heroes, and they came to a table and began to discuss a girl named Eri. "So from what we've learned, it seems the Hasaikai are spreading their influence for money," said Bubble Girl. "Another drug empire, huh? What's the stuff?" asked Jiraiya. "In this case, it's something much worse than anything you and I ever stopped. It's a drug that destroys quirks," said Fatgum. This revelation leaves all those present at a loss for words, as Fatgum said that Tamaki got hit by the bullet filled with the drug, but luckily he was okay. "We even managed to get a sample to the Kirishima here," he would say. "Huh? Really?" said Kirishima. Happy for him, his classmates then say he did great, and Deku then says, "Don't mean to barge in here, but did you bring me here to counteract this thing?" All the heroes look to the young heroes, and I would then say he did. "Have you ever rewinded an entire human body?" "Yeah, hopefully it works for quirks. I've never gone past rewinding activation, but if I focus, then I can totally do it." "Good," said Night-Eye. The discussion then continues, with them soon learning that the drug was made of literally someone. Like, it wasn't made by someone, it was made of someone. And this truly motivated everyone because it was made out of a little girl. If anything, that's the only thing that the evidence points to, and now they had to go after the Saikai. However, to pull all of this off, they do still need evidence. "You're a former psyche of All Might. Certainly you can do something," said Fatgum. "I can't. We have to rely on analysis," said Night-Eye. Azai would then raise a hand, however, asking why they can't just have him look into their future and see their fates, but Night-Eye says that he can only do it for 1 hour of someone's future. "Okay, then let's speed it up," said Deku, as all attention turns to him again, and raising his hand, he covers it with chakra, as he said he would lend Night-Eye some time. And this makes the hero start to ponder if it could actually work, and even Night-Eye wonders about it, but in the end, he says no. "Even if I were to tell you something, everything about the future, would you be fine if your life ended in death?" "Yeah, but I'm not gonna die," said Deku. "You can look into my future if you're afraid for the kids," said Rocklock, but Night-Eye once again says no. This sights in some silence that feels almost suffocating, but Night-Eye just didn't want to burden someone with their own future, and using this power was clearly a sore subject for him. The heroes would just let it go, but now they just want to get Eri, so they hope that everything will just work out due to their pure skill. It takes a minimum of 3 days to find the base, and they also got to warn and gather a bunch of police and a SWAT team, and brought over as many competent heroes as possible. Walking around, Deku would then hand many heroes marbles that have been made to freeze villains as instructed by Night-Eye. "Make sure to keep it close to you," said Night-Eye. "Yeah, and the effect lasts for an hour after the target is hit. They won't be able to move, but they're not frozen in time," said Deku, as he soon comes to his classmates and hands it over to them, and they would thank him for it. Even each officer and SWAT team member that was present had one, so they could just be safe just in case. And the leading cop then goes to ring the mansion doorbell. However, as soon as he reaches it, a giant henchman would then break through the gate. What the hell are you doing here? He would then go to hit some police officers up front when Deku appears and tanks the blow, blocking it as his feet would dig into the ground due to the impact. And as it does, this is when a cop would then throw one of his marbles, hitting the man. Instantly, his motor functions all come to a stop, and then starting to fall over when Ryuko would then transform and catch him, allowing the others to run in. And as they run, when they run across the yard, some people attack them, but some heroes dispatch them very quickly, allowing some officers to stay behind and freeze them as well. The remaining heroes then reach the house and find the secret passage inside, but as it is opened up, 3 men attack them. But they fall over unresponsive after just one glare from Deku. I'll stay behind what the officer said, Bubble Girl, as she tells everyone to go ahead, and they run down the stairs and they reach the bottom. However, a wall would then make itself known, with Deku then tapping Kirishima, who speeds up and bursts her chakra before then kicking through it. The hell was that? Asked Rocklock. I sped him up, said Deku, as he ran forward with everyone who hasn't seen his ability being a bit put off, but it's amazing nonetheless. Let's just go. They run ahead, only to then be told to stop by Mirio. The hall, it's all messed up, he said. Looking forward, they saw everything was twisting and turning, as Nadai would then look to Deku, and with a nod, he would look to the ceiling and at the walls, while the officers would ask what was going on. Midoriya developed the ability to see life force through objects. Very recently, said Night-Eye. How many quirks does this kid have? The officers thought. And this is when Deku would actually point to a corner to the left before then releasing a beam, and this beam would phase through the walls and reach the man doing everything, and Mirio would then phase right in that direction and fight him. The two were then catapulted out as Mirio would then come to land before then hitting with the marble and freezing him as well. Quickly, the heroes then see how easy things have been and how much more efficient the raid has been due to just one child. So they take advantage of it and just move even faster, even though their pride is a little bit hurt because it's a child. Everyone would soon split up and ended up facing against villains who attacked them, while Aizawa, Night-Eye, Deku, and Mirio just kept going forward. They soon would run down a hall and see 2 people up ahead, so Deku speeds up Mirio, who runs and phases through Chrono while grabbing Eri and stopping in an open area. Hero Sashisaki, as he then turns when he's then met by the gaze of a smiling Deku, and all he could think of was how badly he fucked up. He begins to fall while Chrono is then hit to the stomach by one of Night-Eye's own tools that Deku actually took inspiration from, you know what it is, and the henchman will then fall to the floor as he and his buster are picked up by Deku, who turns to face a crying Eri in Mirio's arms. Okay, I'm really not good with kids. We're here. Yeah, said Deku. The little girl was surprised that everything was over so soon that she would start to cry into Mirio's arms as he tried to comfort her, and Deku only gets more freaked out, asking how Mirio does that. He saved her, the rest just involves us being by her side. And you can do all that queasy stuff. I'm heading back, he said, as he would then turn, swinging the bodies of the villains, making Night-Eye and Aizawa duck, and as he heads out, Night-Eye would then say, is he aware that we've only gotten this far due to his quirk? Oh no, he's very well aware. He's just more of a combatant type, said Aizawa. Just like that, everything has come to an end, as Eri is now in better hands, and all the Yakuza are arrested while Eri is taken to a hospital, and the students meanwhile return to class, and they feel satisfied they have saved the little girl. And the school festival will soon be announced, and clearly one day gets to work on it to appease those they. The fact that they think that someone owes them an apology for being attacked by villains is stupid. I'm just gonna say that now. That always pissed me off. How is it their fault if villains were not attacked? I don't blame the villains, nigga. Whatever. So they start to work on the festival. Jiro chooses to be their lead musician and vocalist because she's awesome at it. Deku and Baku don't really agree though. They find it stupid, just like me. And then a few days later, Mirio and Deku called in to see Eri, and so Mirio comes with a food basket as they enter a room, and as he takes a seat by her, he would offer it up to her as it would be filled with apples, but Deku would simply stand because he doesn't know how to interact with kids still. So, how are you feeling? Asked Mirio. Eri would then put the basket aside, saying she was okay. I'm sorry, people definitely got hurt because of me, didn't they? Mirio, however, says no one blames her and no one was hurt, as Deku would then say of course they weren't, I was there. How did you manage to make this about you? Asked Mirio. As Deku would say he's amazing in many ways, and this is when he comes to lock eyes with Eri, so he actually approaches her and kneels down saying, I can rewind time too, you know. Really? Asked Eri as she will almost jump out of her bed, and Deku says yes, but he's only developed it recently. If you won't believe in yourself that you're in control, then you won't have any. Quirks are psychological as they are physical. No one blames you. As a matter of fact, that's why we're inviting you to an awesome festival. Mirio would then pick up on what Deku just says, and he says, yeah, they have candied apples and like a bunch of other stuff. They're even sweeter than the ones I'm giving you. She begins to drool at the very thought of this, with Deku then asking if she would like to actually come, and with a nod she would say yes, as Deku turns to see Aizawa just outside, and he says, I'll ask Nezu, but it's probably fine. You're that? Awesome, right? Deku would say. Eri would then, at this point, try to smile to show her genuineness, but finds it hard to as she apologizes, which makes the two realize that she really has not been saved yet. And Deku would then reach his hand over her scarred arms, and this is when a glow would appear, and her arm starts to rewind as do her legs, and she feels it as she would then stand to find the scars all over her body gone. It's really scary, but it can also do stuff like this. That's amazing, right? You just need to control it. I can help you with that, said Deku. She'd be very happy that someone that has the same power as her could apply it in this way, so much so that it made her actually smile in that moment because she realized that her quirk is not just for destroying, it can also heal, which blinded the two because it was just too cute. Good job, Midoriya, said Mira. Like I said, I'm amazing in many ways. As time passes, they stay with her until they have to leave, and her mind would be much better and much at ease because she's never seen anyone with similar power set to her help people in such a way, and it gives her hope for herself. One day, Miwa would reconvene and keep talking about their ideas for the festival and going to classes, and it mattered more than ever now because the festival was about a month away. On the way back to the dorms one day, however, Deku would then hear some people bad-mouthing them as he then turns to some of them, but they quickly avert their gaze. The hell you say? Self-conceited? Says the bastards who feel like they need an apology for us being attacked. Deku was about to attack them and beat the hell out of them, but Kirishima and Tokoyami would just barely hold him back as he rages, asking them to repeat what they just said about his friends. The group of students are already scared off, however, and if anything, we're embarrassed because it's not like they asked to be attacked. Again, that's like really stupid to be like angry about. Like, come on. Deku does eventually calm down, and as the class enters the common area in their dorm, Deku would instantly yell, "Screw the original plan! I'm not gonna do all this for some petty little shits." Agree, they can right off, said Bakugo. Yuri, however, says that it could really turn out great, but Bakugo says that's not the point. Don't you feel pissed at all? They're hating us because we're doing better. Sucks to be them, I guess. They're not just gonna easily accept people they hate, so if we're gonna do this, we gotta do it right, said Deku. We gotta murder the whole school with music, the two would say, as the class would then become invigorated at how motivated they are. I'm gonna go train. Call me up when you got something else to talk about, said Deku. And as he walks out, Bakugo would then say he's probably feeling some type of way since the villains were after him. I didn't even think about that, said Ida. But you're totally right. We can't do this for self-satisfaction, said Hagakure. Now the trajectory of thinking and the planning would change. Now they were just going to put on the most crazy performance they could ever think of, not just to appease these people. They were like going to go crazy and make the crowd go wild. And as that month comes to pass, the groups are made, and it consists of the band, the stage team, and the dancers. And Bakugo, Momo, Jiro, Tokoyami, and Deku, who knows how to play the bass, they're in the band. The staging team has Koda, Todoroki, Kirishima, Sero, and Aoyama, and the dancers has Mineta, Mina, Sato, Ojiro, Shoji, Aoyama, Aburaka, Ida, and Tsuyu. And during their preparations, Deku and Mira would actually bring Eri over to meet everyone and look at the preparations for the festival, and she had a lot of fun. She even got the caramel apple before she went back to the hospital. But on the final day of the festival, Deku sent out to go buy some equipment the team is missing, and, well, he's the fastest, so he does come back, like, really fast. But as he's running back with some bags in hand, he almost bumps into someone, but the spin, though, he would then dodge them while apologizing, and Junto would then say, "It's no problem." Labrava at this one would then tug on his coat, saying, "Yeah, that's the kid, right?" "Yes, I'm well aware." "Shall we postpone our plans for today?" asked Gento, as Labrava would then say yes, definitely, and they go back home not wanting to go to UA after realizing they were way over their heads. Deku looks at you once and you freeze. They're ambitious, they're not stupid. They know that they can't just win against someone who looks at you once and you freeze. Like, as soon as they fight, Deku looks at them once and they won't be able to do crap. I'm not going to draw that out. I'm good. I don't want to embarrass them too much. Deku and Yue meanwhile party, and he and his class put on a concert so amazing that those present forgot that they actually hated them in any way. And now we're gonna have a 20-year time skip. Yeah, sorry. No war arc. We find Deku walking into a cemetery as he comes to a grave, the grave of his old master, teacher Jiraiya. He lays down a rose and stood straight with a smile before then taking out a magazine as he puts it down near the flowers along the rose, along with the many other offerings around his grave given to the hero for all the things he has done. He's very loved. But Deku is interrupted by a call. As he takes it, he quickly then enters his cloaked state. He then leaps out to the streets, and he would tell the police calling him that he'd be there soon. But quickly, another person then calls, and he then picks it up. "Hey, Eri, when are you getting home? Mom says you need a break," she'd say. "I'm coming back soon. Just tell her to give me like 5 minutes." She would then say okay and hang up as Deku would then speed up, and he soon starts to see a band of villains because he's like really fast. He's already arrived, and they'd be causing mayhem while Bakugo and Todoroki would be trying to restrain many of them, but their leader has the ability to just melt things he touches, so this makes Todoroki's ice useless. People are being evacuated as the security perimeter is then put up, but as they look to the sky, many would see Deku arriving and are filled with delight. He It's Kronos! Finally! Alright, Deku, what took you so long, said Bakugo, as he would then release a massive explosion at the villain, but he uses his own man as a shield, only to then be kicked in the face and freeze in time. Deku would then land and speed himself up, as he would strike him in the face exactly 100 times before then resuming his time, and the villain would be so messed up that he just simply falls over. Who the hell told you to do this shit on my turf, huh? He would then stump the villain's head while berating him, and Todoroki would say, he's out cold, you do realize that, right? Sucks to be him. Also, you guys want to come for Thanksgiving? Eri says she wants to see everyone. I'm free, said Bakugo. Me as well, said Todoroki. In the past years, Deku had become number 1, obviously, as his mother has also adopted Eri, obviously. And as a matter of fact, she's a pretty famous hero and has gotten control over her quirk very well. Deku has also become the central reason as to why crime rates have gone down, not just in Japan, but over the whole world, due to letting scientists harness the ability that he has to freeze people in just time. So that's very mass-produced. And the one person he gave the opportunity to start this was Mei, so good for her. She got business, bro. But this is the end. Use your imagination to fill the future world whatever you want to and whatever you find fitting. But this is the end of the series. Sorry that this is ending at 4 parts, but like I went crazy on this, like crazy. I did this fast. But I also wanted to see how I would do with the sped up like MHA series, and I like it this way. So it's not that I'm not gonna include stories. Next time if I do this again, I'm gonna go full like war arc. Don't worry about that. But this was kind of an experiment. An experiment, might I add. I loved it a lot. It's not really just about like the content. I wanted to experiment a little bit for myself, you know. I like it. I'm gonna keep the sped up thing going on because there are parts that I write myself and I find myself so bored that I literally just fall asleep while thinking about how to do certain conversations. The next part will be much more detailed, but also faster. I'm not gonna, if it's a small little event, I'm gonna skip it and get to the stuff you really want to see. So don't worry, I'm not just gonna do stuff like, oh, super fast. I know that kind of ruins the whole thing that I'm about. My channel is not about speeding through the story, but hope you have fun with this. I will try to do a full story on this one and just put it out. I got all the content on Premiere Pro, so I'm just gonna do it right away. And I hope you enjoyed this. You know, enjoy the small little ride. And I'm gonna post the what if Luffy had Juno's powers, and then the final part of what if Julius had what if Naruto had Julius's powers. Yeah, there we go. And what if Deku had Lucifer's powers on my channel soon. So wait for that. And peace.
Yeah, you better listen. I'm bringing heat. You'll be a fan when I start rapping. Way I'll have your fucking head spinning. I'm known as spit vicious. Release bombs and go tick tick. Boom, you blown me that head missing. I'm a phenomenon. Stacking cheese like it's Parmesan. 8 different flows, call me Octomom. I'm moving fast like the Autobahn. And I'm independent, so I'm not your fucking starving like it's Ramadan.